Pretty good day, right? Pretty good day. Pretty good day. To be a Chelsea fan right now. All of that money spent and still just a Poundland Endo. Could never be us, right? Could never be us. Imagine spending £115 million. Dude making out like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, coming on and losing you the game. That's shocking. That's shocking. 115 million and Endo comes in and has a bigger impact in his first game. Whoopsies. Oh, you love it. You love it. What a weekend. United getting their ass handed to them on the Saturday. Oh, yes, my friends. That is a pretty damn nice way to round off what has been a good weekend all around for the Reds. This video is sponsored by Manscaped, the best in men's grooming. Manscaped is known for their elite ball skills, a little bit like myself. But with the beard hedger, they're helping people notice that pretty face too. Our friends at Manscaped are now focusing on their off-the-ball movement with their Beard Hedger Pro Kit. The Beard Hedger Face Trimmer is a waterproof, cordless trimmer which has 20 haircutting lengths, all with just one guard, so no more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. The trimmer has a titanium-coated T-blade which is tough on hair, but smooth on your face. Just because Manscaped have moved away from the groin doesn't mean they've lost track of the ball, unlike Joe Gomez. They still have the Lawnmower 4.0, the best hygiene tool to help you keep the grass on the pitch the perfect length. The Lawnmower 4.0 ceramic blade reduces cuts and nicks in your most sensitive areas. Unlike me, the trimmer's battery lasts 90 minutes, meaning you could shave your nether regions the length of an entire match if you wanted. You can get a wide range of packages and products at manscaped.com. What's more, you can get 20% off and free delivery using our code Anfield20 at manscaped.com. Celebrate the new season of the beautiful game with your newly beautiful balls and face. I don't know why they say newly beautiful. My face is always beautiful. Look at it. It's amazing. Caicedo, look, do you know what? On Caicedo, while we're still having a bit of a giraffe about him, it wasn't just a penalty incident, because he got very lucky that West Ham had a shot saved by the Chelsea's keeper as well, because just like 3 minutes before the penalty, he gave the ball away on the edge of his own penalty area, and I think, I can't remember which one of the Chelsea players it was, the West Ham players had a shot saved by Sanchez, so it could have been even worse for El Caicedo, who, God bless him, looked like he was playing running through sticky toffee pudding. Cosmo Saviour said, as a Chelsea fan, we were atrocious. It's the start of the season, but it does not look good. There was lots of bright points from you in attack, mate. Some of the work done down the right-hand side again by Chelsea was very impressive, but there was no composure when it got to that final pass. Mudryk, when he came on, you seen that half volley of his that ended up going, I think, getting cleared on the edge of the box rather than even going wide. Just that bit of composure. There's a lot of energy and pace and directness in that Chelsea squad that I'm sure Pochettino will work on. Just needs a little bit of polishing. And look, that's the risk. You know, when you bring in that many players and you change that much of your squad, it will take that little bit of time. And for you guys, you better just hope that Poch figures it out before people start pulling away and Chelsea are playing catch up. From my perspective, pretty good weekend. Liverpool, I won't say we cruised to a 3-1 victory, but we found a way to get a win, even after a ridiculous red card. We came back from a goal down. So yeah, I'm pretty satisfied in that regard. I'm from South Africa. Jude, how are you, mate? Welcome in. Oh, by the way, speaking of Jude, have you seen Bellingham start to his career at Real Madrid? I mean, we can sit here and laugh about Caicedo missing out on him and whatnot, but God, Bellingham's been off to a flyer. 3 goals in his first 2 games for Real Madrid. Not too shabby. Thoughts on us appealing the red? So I think that's where we should have the first poll of the night tonight, because I know we don't just have Liverpool fans in the chat. We've got many others. So, Ngari, in the background, sir, can you just ask the chat, was it a red card in the Liverpool game? Yes or no? And you know what, folks? This was a weekend for red cards. There was way too many of them for my liking, and very few of them because of real dangerous, reckless incidents. The referees need to cop on now a little bit, because it's getting a bit OTT here. Look, the answer is no. by the way. Anybody who's ever played football will tell you that that is ridiculous, that that's a red card. You've got two lads coming in at speed. One is going to get there before the other. And then the question after that is, the guy who doesn't get there, in this case Alexis McAllister, is he out of control? Nope. Does he look to recklessly endanger an opponent? Nope. Was he studs up looking to go through him? Nope. It absolutely didn't tick any boxes for me for a red card. It was a ridiculous decision. And a lot of us were wondering why it wasn't looked at properly by VAR. Now let me say this very clearly to Howard Webb, the PGMOL, and anybody else that may have an input into this. This threshold of VAR not getting involved unless it's obvious is a joke. It's a joke. Because yesterday was a very, very clear indication of a card that shouldn't have been red. And what did VAR do? What they always do. Hid behind the rules. Hid behind this nonsense threshold that only exists in Howard Webb and the PGMOL's head. That's all they ever do. Didn't meet the threshold. What does meet it? If somebody have to go out there and hit somebody with a baseball bat before they change their threshold, it's nonsense. If VAR isn't going to intervene when something is clearly wrong, and that was very clearly wrong, then just scrap it, because it's nonsense. And all it is another excuse for these lads to do what they goddamn want and shaft us. And that's what happened. Only this time, we didn't accept the shafting. This time, we didn't lube ourselves up. This time, we strapped ourselves on, we got a third goal, and we seen out the goddamn game. So again, either cop on with the VAR stuff, lads, and get the lads doing their job, or scrap it, because it's nonsense. How can you have the two lads that we have previous with, yet again on VAR? Constantine Elbow Robertson in the Hedicus is one of them, and Paul Tiernicus Maximus is the other one. Two lads that we know only too well that if there's any opportunity to Liverpool, they will. I don't know what that was, by the way. That in my head was way better, but Liverpool, there you go. Can it be overturned? Yes, it can. It can be appealed, and I think if you're looking and studying the language Klopp used in his post-match interview yesterday, he starts speaking about different thresholds that he doesn't feel that the challenge met. So I think from a technical standpoint, he is thinking about it. Now, riddle me this. How is it that we can have one referee, former referee, say absolutely not a red card, i.e. Dermot Gallagher, and that it should have been a yellow, and we can have Mike, I love a red card as long as a little dance is involved, Dean, saying on Sky that it was a red card? So who the hell are we supposed to believe when two former officials have differing opinions on it? And one of them is deluded in Mike Dean, because in no world, on a Sunday League pitch, in a League One pitch, in a non-league pitch, in a Premier League pitch, is that even close to a red card? Not even in the vicinity of it. If a red card was over there having a shite, you wouldn't even be able to smell it. That's how far away it was from a red card. I think Everton get relegated, do you agree? Like, jokes aside, Alex, it's looking dire for them. Honestly, the manager they brought in, if any manager is going to be able to get a bit of fight out of a team, it'll be Sean Dyche. And he did it enough last year to keep them up. But the recruitment has been non-existent pretty much. The club seem like it's in a pretty bad place. They look like they're in a world of pain, a world of trouble with the squad that they have at the minute. And genuinely, yes, I would say they are real candidates for relegation. One of the things I've been really honest with you guys about has been the difficulty in finding out links to centre-backs. We did the Hincapie one the other day, and today we're going to talk about Per Schurz, because a couple of accounts, I think Football Insider being one of them, say that Virgil van Dijk is aware of Per Schurz's quality and is a fan of his. And that makes me think, because usually when Van Dijk's starting talking about people like Cody Gakpo, maybe this is a sign that something is happening. And I'm not sure. Do you get where I've gone with that? I'm not sure. But we are being linked with him, and the numbers are about 30 million. He is a left-sided centre-back. He hasn't yet made an appearance for the Dutch national team at a senior level. But we've been tracking this guy since before he went to Torino. And again, we're being linked with him. So it looks like we're starting to whittle it down to maybe Hincapie or Per Schurz at this point. They would seem to be the two front runners, along with the guy from Ron Tiete, who was another one. So let's wait and see what happens. But You know, at least we're getting some names out there now. At least we're getting linked with some centre-backs. Our transfer links are awful. Are they, though? Sometimes I have to pinch myself and say this, because it's not always clear that, like, a player coming in that we don't know all that much about because we don't watch the league that much doesn't necessarily mean they aren't going to be good. I've kind of got to the point where I tried to say to myself, if Klopp, Schmadtke, Fallows, and the rest of the recruitment team view these lads as good enough, then they will have done their research. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. I'm not going to say he's great or he's shy because I don't know, but he is somebody that has been linked and linked for quite a while. And £30 million sounds about right as well for the number that I would expect Liverpool to be willing to spend. Gravenberch is not a 6. I don't want him, said Mackie. I don't want Gravenberch either, mate. But, unfortunately, I'm going to say something that will give some credibility to Liverpool's interest in him. I have a bit of news on Gravenberch that Liverpool did indeed send Dave Fallows and Barry Hunter, so our head of recruitment and our chief scout, over to Germany to, according to this report, find out detailed information on Ryan Gravenberch and what it would cost. This isn't a be-all and end-all situation. I don't know if we're running the rule over a couple of players and we're looking to see what the market is for the likes of a Doucoure and the likes of a Gravenberch. I don't know that yet, but it does look like we did send people over to try and see what Bayern's stance is here. And he did get involved, I should say, in Bayern's game. Didn't come off the bench, nothing like that. So certainly not fancied by Thomas Tuchel. And Bayern are looking at the likes of Sangar themselves as a replacement. So my question is this. Do you guys feel comfortable with that? Because if they're willing to get rid of him and look for the likes of Sangar, why do we think that he's going to be good enough for us? Now, the answer could be something as simple as Jurgen Klopp sees something that he likes about the kid that maybe isn't working for Thomas Tuchel's Bayern setup, and that could be absolutely fine. But it could also be that he's just not at the level, and Bayern aren't willing to wait to see if he gets to that level, and maybe they think Sangar is a better fit for them at the minute alongside Kimmich or Lamer in midfield. I don't know, but it's a fair question. I like Gravenberch if he comes along with another. Colin, I don't know if he will or not. And sincerely, I don't know. I'm not trying to fob you off. I don't know if Liverpool are going to sign one and that's the end of it. Especially if we're going to look at Andre in January. Now, what makes me a bit more weary about Gravenberch now and our possibility of us signing him is we've brought in Endo. Ceic is back to fitness. He was in the matchday squad yesterday. We'll probably get some game time against Newcastle. Then if you're going to bring in Andre in January, you're pretty much covered in the number 6 then. You've got Thiago for the rest of the season who can fill in if needs be. You've got Endo, obviously, who's now the world's greatest central defensive midfielder without any competition for that place because he's clearly the best in the world. And you've got Stefan Ceic. Then if you bring in Ryan Gravenberch, you've got yourselves somebody who can be a 6.5 or an 8. And maybe Klopp wants that versatility versus another specialist. So if we take it that we will get this signing over the line, let's say, and we bring in Andre in January, then maybe the Gravenberch thing makes a bit more sense in my head. But I'm still weary of him. I'm not sure. Alex Cooper said, but Klopp is good at finding gems, though. So if Klopp feels he can get the best out of him, that's good enough for me. That's a fair look. It's hard for me to argue back against that, Alex. And I don't really want to argue back against it because you're right. Klopp's far more qualified than I to run the rule over players and say what he wants in his system. So I'm not even going to try and push back, Alex. All I'll say is I have my doubts and I would far prefer the likes of a Doucoure or a Thuram than Gravenberch, personally. But maybe Klopp feels that he is one of these absolute diamonds in the rough that he can polish up and turn into a superstar. And if that works out and it costs us about 30 million or 25 million, again, I'm happy to sit here in 3-4 months time and go, well, how wrong was I? Ryan Gravenberch has been amazing. Nothing would make me happier, mate. You know me, every time I hear Liverpool looking at the cheap option, it makes me a little bit nervous. To be fair, Gravenberch was seen as a definite superstar before moving to Bayern. Yes, it hasn't worked out, but I fully believe Klopp knows he has a high ceiling, and who better to develop him? Again, my friend Pre-Don, you're fair with your comment. And look, if Ryan Gravenberch signs for Liverpool Football Club, I'll get right behind him, like all of you guys. We just like to sit here and talk about the players that we'd like to see it, and I'm just not convinced. But as I said, more than happy to go with whatever the club decide to do and get behind the lads. No Lavia on the bench. I would say that that's probably just because of the lateness of the announcement, really, more than anything else. Here's what I don't get about the Lavia thing, though, right? Remember when Lavia decided he was going to Chelsea? And what did he sign on, a 7-year deal or something? Remember, one of the excuses that we got given in the media was that he felt like second best at Liverpool because we went for Caicedo. You what now? Like, does he not see what's happened to Chelsea? Does he not see that they brought in Caicedo literally ahead of him, and they have another defensive midfielder, and they have Enzo there? I don't get it. And I'm not going to believe anybody that signs for Chelsea under Todd Bowley that says anything other than, I like money, Todd's giving me lots of money over a very long time, I like money. That's the only truth that I'm willing to accept, because nobody willingly wants to play for Chelsea over Liverpool, other than potentially the London factor. But even at that, Scousers are better. So, yeah. Weird one. So Fabrizio Romano's been speaking a little bit about the Ryan Gravenberch situation, and thank you, Mark, for this. He said, Liverpool made a phone call this week to be informed on Ryan Gravenberch's situation at Bayern. At the moment, Bayern do not want to sell the midfielder, but in case this changes, Liverpool are informed. See, this is what gets me about this Gravenberch thing again. It's been very clear he's not wanted at Bayern. And I don't know who they think they're kidding, trying to tell the world that he's not for sale. He is for sale, because Thomas Tuchel has no interest in playing him. And that's not just him. Manager before him had no interest in playing him at Bayern. So this guff about Bayern not wanting to sell him, I think, is nonsense. I think Bayern are absolutely open to selling him. And maybe they just want to wait till the end of the window. I don't know. But remember, they spend a lot of money on Harry Kane. They're a very, very well-run club. And I think they probably want to bring in somebody else in midfield themselves, which is why they're looking at Sangar and stuff. So again, I don't believe that he's not for sale. He 100% is for sale. Jordan Hunnable said, I'm really worried about the lack of Doucoure links and info over the last few days. I wouldn't worry about it too much from the point of view of we've done a lot of research on him. Palace are, I don't want to say bracing themselves for a bid, but they may be expecting it. And I can't tell you if it's going to be Doucoure or Gravenberch. I mean, if you want me to guess, I mean, I think it's edging to look towards Gravenberch based on what the media are saying, but I don't know, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see how the window ends, because at least we're still doing business. Because I've been around many windows where Klopp would say, well, no, we're done now unless something drastic changes. But we know we aren't. So that's a good thing. Colin said, I truly believe in Gravenberch, and if any club and coach was to turn his bad spell around, it's Liverpool and Klopp. I also think that Endo is the one we needed. Look, Endo's going to win a load of people over, mate. And a lot of humble pie will be eaten by a lot of Liverpool fans and opposition fans who just laughed when Endo came in. Yeah, we're all aware he isn't Caicedo. We get that. But doesn't mean he isn't going to be a damn good defensive midfield player in our system and do what we need him to do. Just look at yesterday. Dude was only on the pitch 2 minutes when people were already talking about him being ghosted past twice. They forgot to mention all the great stuff he did, like the ball winning he did, skipping away from challenges and setting up attacks. That didn't get noticed by the same people who are only existing to piss all over Liverpool's players. And it's pathetic. It was Gakpo, it was Darwin. It's non-stop. It doesn't matter who Liverpool sign. Some genius out there on Twitter or X or whatever it's called these days will come up with a way to try and undermine every Liverpool signing because, and I can't say this enough, they're pathetic.